Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of
Dad and Andrew's Garage.
Hey, we got a special one for you this week. What do we got there, son?
1975 Volkswagen Panel bus.
That's right. And we're doing a build with the three blind mice called Off-Road Autumn. So we thought what more cooler of a vehicle than a Volkswagen Panel bus to turn into some sort of off-road vehicle. What do you think, son?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
All right, well, tell you what. Why don't we get this fella up onto the new rotating car stand and see what we have to work with.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right on.
Okay, and here it is. The 1975 Volkswagen Panel bus. And as you see, we got a new rotary as well. What do you think, Dad?
I think it's pretty cool. We don't have to block up our garage scene. It is very low to the ground. Has a nice turn to it, and it's mirrored on the bottom. So yeah, you did a good find there, son. Where'd you get this?
I got it at like air museum, but I don't know why they'd sell it at an air museum.
Well, they did sell a lot of model kits at the air museum, right?
Yeah, they sure did.
So that's probably for people that like to display little model kits. And I guess let's get into the actual Volkswagen panel van here. What do you say?
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Well, as you can see, folks, it's done up in a Gulf livery. Number 5 here. It's a very much a kind of a cool little car. So, but we figure we can make this into an off-road type vehicle. What does it say? Oops, upside down. Of course. Let me just see here. Yeah, Greenlight. This is a Greenlight, and you can sort of see it here. 1975 Volkswagen Type 2 bus. And yeah, this is it. But you probably noticed one other thing about this vehicle, interesting looking as it is. Check the bottom out once again. There are no rivets on the bottom. Look at this. No rivets. And as you know, you see here's another vehicle, 2 rivets, right? That we have that you can actually, drill out and take apart right there and there. This guy, however, has absolutely no rivets. So I looked and said, well, look at that. It apparently is held on by these posts on the bumper here, the front bumper, which kind of go into these 2 receptacles here. Same thing on the rear. There's this small little grill thing on the back. Perhaps it looks like it was broken, and it was probably a rear bumper. And once again, that seems to go in there, and that keeps the back on. So I cannot take this apart until I sort of work that. As you can sort of see, there is no more front bumper and no more rear bumper. The rear bumper, a little bit that was left, blew off, and I can't find it. It flew across the garage floor somewhere. And, of course, here's the front bumper right here. So I pulled that off. But, of course, as one would imagine, the posts remain stuck inside the vehicle. But we managed to do some drilling and punching and pounding. And, there we go. It comes apart. And, as you can see, I also used a little drill here and a smaller sort of drill here with this Dremel that I have behind you. A little small hobby Dremel. Not very strong, but it was enough to take all the plastic out of the very front parts of these bumpers right here. So now when I reaffix the top part, I will be able to sort of put something through there, through these holes, and into these holes just to make sure that top remains secure. Now, the bottom part also comes out here. Look at this, see if I can get this out. Stubborn it is. There we go. So the top part comes out, and look at this. It's actually kind of neat. The seat's already painted. We have a nice orange steering wheel. So, considering what I have, I don't think I need to do too much of that. It's kind of cool from as far as I can see. And as you can sort of see, there's little holes on the bottom which fit into these holes here, which sort of make this thing fit together rather nicely. These wheels will come off because we're going to do something different with the putting on something a little more beefy for the off-road experience. And the only thing that's going to cause me a little bit of grief here is inside, as you can see, so many rivets just to sort out this interior, or these windows. So they got 2 rivets here just for the front windshield. 1 rivet here for the side windshield. Another rivet on this side for the other side windshield, which is insane. And it looks like they probably cannibalized something for another vehicle where they cut it here. That would probably have had more windows down the side. And, of course, in the back, look at that. 2 more rivets for the back window. So this thing is crazy rivets. I'm going to have to take these all off before I can put this in the stripper and clear it up. But, anyway, here's what we're working with, right? All right, folks. Well, hey, we finally got all of those rivets out. So there we are. All the glass is gone. And as you can see, we have it here. We got our one side panel of glass. As you can see, it looks like they did have to cut this up for some reason. This jaggedy side piece here is not what I did. Only the small lip in there you see right about here is what I did with the grinder. So yeah, these are the side windows, which, like I say, again, look like they were just cut apart from some other thing. And the rear window as well, we got that off. So there we go. And of course the front windshield, which is over here. And there we go, front windshield came off as well. So there's all our glass. And this guy, I gave it a little bit of a buff with some steel wool, just so we can get the stripping process started. So in it goes. Boom. There we go. And we'll let that stripper do its stuff. All right, folks. Well, we took our body out of the stripper, and yeah, here we go. Did a good clean job stripping that paint off. Not too bad. Just a little bit more wire wheel and steel wool, and we should be good to go to get some paint on it. Now, moving on to the base. Boy, some really, I guess, tight or sort of very fragile base, it would appear, because when I moved it a little bit to try and get it out of the bottom, she bent a little bit, and we sort of bent it back, and poop, just came apart very easily. You can sort of see here the, I guess, the amount of glue or the amount of steel that they're using to make the connection here was very minuscule. You know, you sort of, I'm just trying to focus that a little bit. You can sort of see just the smallest little line of steel connection there. So yeah, all that happened was she came apart, and boop, this is terrible, but yeah, there it is. I'm going to have to try and glue this together. And since I want to, you know, also make a monster truck suspension with all this sort of tubing and wire I got here, it's going to be challenging when the base here that I was hoping was going to be rather firm is not. But I guess that's just those challenges you meet when you do this job. So we'll carry on, and hopefully things will turn out. All right, everyone. So we've given it a nice little buff and done some work with the wire wheel. And we've also given it some steel wool. So here we go. I guess at the end we're, I think, just about ready here. This looks a lot better to get it down to the paint shop. But first, we're going to have to use the old engine cleaner degreaser here, the gunk, and give it a couple of hits. There we go. Make that nice and clean so that paint will stick. I won't have any more problems with this. So stay tuned. Well, all right, everyone. We have been doing a lot of work this morning, but I finally managed to get myself a suspension here for the monster truck. There it is. It looks kind of funny. It looks like scaffolding. Anyway, what we did here was, there it is. And Andrew's bringing one of the tires over. But we actually, because we had that break inside this base because of the really weak point of metal, I had to glue the base here to the actual interior. And that's sort of giving it some rigidity. And then after that, I used some wire here. Now this is like picture hanging wire. So it's rather dense. It's for big pictures, I suppose. But we use that to make sort of this little loop here that could be added as a sort of a strut for a suspension or something, right? And then I took two pen springs. I cut them in half so I had enough, and there we go. We used the pen springs here just to give it that look of a spring shock absorber. And we used these here aircraft tubes, or they're sort of brass tubing. They're for aircraft models and the like. And we put them here as sort of struts and cross supports on top of finally the, the axle tubes, which is right here. Two of them each. And so after some drying and a bit of JB Weld here, if you'll see, because I really had nothing to moor them into, so not only I used JB Weld to moor them in and make holes, but of course these pulled out afterwards, so I then glued them in with crazy glue on top of that. The JB Weld is this stuff. It's called steel stick. It's kind of like a putty, and you sort of work it, and then you can sort of have something that dries fairly quickly, and you know what you're getting without sort of the 24-hour cure time of the JB Weld sort of glue epoxy. Still both good, and both have their applications, but this is good when you're sort of wanting to work on the fly. So yeah, here we are. it works. And once we get the body painted up, this should be good, and we'll get the big tires on it. Hey folks, and here we are, getting ready to put on some paint on the vehicle. We're going to make it two-tone, so you can see I put some masking up here. But also, you'll notice I kind of got a toilet paper tube here jammed up inside to hold on to it so that I can spray this thing, because the way it worked with those two front holes, there was no posts in this vehicle to clip on the old forceps. So this is the way we're going to work it, and I'm going to hold on to this thing. It worked great for the primer, so we'll see how it works for the main spray. And these are pretty inexpensive. So. Dun, 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 here we go. Well, this kind of looks good on its own. Here's the base. Sort of looks like it's working well as a monster truck. Kind of cool. Now what I have to do is make front and rear bumpers, because if you'll sort of note, I'll try and get the light better here. Yeah, you'll sort of see these little holes. That is what keeps the chassis attached to the roof part, or to the top part of the vehicle. So I got to sort of put this maybe this same tubing through that, but also attach it to kind of a bumper system, because of course the bumpers are gone. But I'm thinking this here end gauge railroad tie that I have lying around may just make a cool little bumper for the front that I could glue on. So we'll try that. So far everything is rocking and rolling as it should be, and I think we'll have a good old off-road special ready by the deadline. So stay tuned. And for comparison purposes, here is what our Volkswagen panel van used to look like before we put the old Dad and Andrew's garage spin on it. What do you think, son?
Yeah, it doesn't really look too good right now, but we made it look really cool.
That's right. It has much more of a noted off-road capability now with the new vehicle. So, I tell you what, without further ado, let's get ready for the reveal. Alright, and here we are, our brand new and improved off-road autumn Volkswagen microbus. And I think I'm pretty happy with this. What do you think, son?
Yeah, I really think it looks cool. I love the homemade suspension, the tires, even the paint job. It's exhilarating and beautiful.
Right on, folks. Yeah, I was pretty happy with the way that suspension turned out once I sort of put the wheels on and the body on top. This looks pretty much like a good old monster truck. Yeah, and in addition, we found some fun decals, the Volkswagen, and those railroad tie bumpers really turned out well. I was pretty impressed with that end scale railroad tie and how it sort of worked. Yeah, pretty much the whole overall look to me looks a lot like a cool monster truck you'd see at a rally. So yeah, we're pretty happy. So folks, if you like what you see on this one,
like and subscribe and smash that like button and share to your friends.
Right on, folks, and keep an eye out for our upcoming builds. We're pretty happy to have participated with the Three Blind Mice in this one, Off-Road Autumn. And hopefully you check out all the other guys' videos, because I think you're going to see some pretty cool off-road vehicles.
Yeah, you sure are.
All right, folks. Well, we'll play out with some glamour shots, and we'll see you next time.
See you later, everybody.